We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
Hey, it's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
Hey man, let me say this real quick, bro. Because congratulations are in order. I wanted to of course on the pod congratulate. First off, I didn't realize you was gonna be flexing on me with the belt, bro. Hold on, that's first off. We're gonna get to that. Hold on. But let me first congratulate the research department, aka Miss Nikki Venus, for being nominated by the Best Self Atlanta magazine. They have all these categories every year. It's like the best of Atlanta, basically though. Uh
Yeah.
she was nominated to be one of the top 40 over 40 and fabulous category that they do. And so if you were interested in such, there is a voting. They are nominated, then you kind of got to vote on the people who are nominated. Then there's like a prize. You make the top 10.
Hmm.
Top 10, you were part of a photo shoot for the magazine, and then they basically of the 10 select the person that they want to use on the actual cover. It's a pretty big little alumni association thing for this best of Atlanta kind of thing though, man. But it was really dope because she when she told me about it, I was very happy for her though, man, that it came out of the blue that she was nominated though, man. So she is doing well. So if you see this and you feel so compelled, today is the absolute last day to vote for her. So if you haven't already, feel free to go ahead and jump out there, vote for your girl. If you've already voted before, you can vote multiple times. So you can vote one more time and get her in there though. If you got multiple emails like I do, put all your emails on there though, man. You don't got to sign up for nothing at all. You just vote and that's it. The only thing that they would ask you is that do you want to get notified when the results are in on who actually won. You can opt in to do that. But other than that, though, completely free. And any vote, she would greatly appreciate it, man. So it's good. I was happy for it, though, man. It's pretty big. She got to a meet and greet yesterday for it, though, man. And she was like, yeah, pretty illustrious group of folks that are on that part of that program, though, man. So I was happy for her.
That's dope, bro. That is dope.
Yeah.
You got to definitely
Talk to me
send me.
about the belt, bro. Talk to me about the belt, man.
Listen, man. This right here, long time dream, bro. You and I have been WWE fans, wrestling fans for forever. You know, WCW, WWE, AEW. Like we like wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And I've always wanted the title. Like I've always wanted the title. I always thought this one was dope. Even like it's a modern design for a belt, you know what I'm saying? Because it's got the logo on there. You know, we've seen the belts over the years, but for some reason, this one stuck out to me, man. I thought it was dope. Obviously, I liked the spinner belt when Cena had that. That was like my joint. But to actually have the title for my 45th, I was like, you know what, bro? I do something every year for myself for my birthday. I was like, I've been wanting it. We've been talking about it for years. Let me go and get the belt. So it feels so good to have it, bro. It's everything, bro. It's everything.
Yo, it is bigger than what I thought. And I was like, listen, I don't know. Listen, you're not the tallest person, right?
Nah.
But I get the part that I was very surprised about, though, man, when you had it about how big it actually is. And that's what I was telling you. I'm like, yo, it looked like if you held that thing from end to end, man, it might be about as tall as you, though, bro. So
Yeah,
there, that
yeah,
thing is huge, though, man.
yeah. Nah, I appreciate it, man. I definitely like the belt, bro. It's I was walking around with it in my office today, and it was funny because I do so much weird stuff that it was so like that's just a mod. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's
Yeah.
what I just laugh. Like, they know my people at work know me. Like, they know I'm a big kid. And I'm sure some, because I had to tell somebody, somebody's like, well, how much did you pay for it? And I told them, and she was like, what? I said, listen, this has no sentimental value for you. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I'm in a position that this is what I wanted, right? This makes me happy. It doesn't matter what you think or what you wouldn't have spent your money on. That's fine. That's why you make your money and you do what you want to do with it. So yeah, that makes me happy.
I'm glad. Listen, man, I'm happy for you though, man. I like I said, I still smile from ear to ear like it's mine. So I
Yeah,
totally, bro.
you
Yeah.
and Joey, bro, y'all both was amping me up when I got it, bro. Both of y'all was amping me up, like, bruh. Yeah,
Listen, I like it so much. This is how I can tell you how much because I got the Stone Cold Smoking Skull fanny pack.
right.
And listen, I keep it in the car. It goes everywhere I go, right? So I totally understand it though, bro. So yeah. I never, like I said, ever since I've had it, it never leaves the car. And mine, it's made by Igloo. So, I can put cold drinks in it. So of course I'm going on the vacation here coming on up and I'm bringing it with me though, man. So nah, I get it, bro.
Yeah, nah, I knew you would. I knew you would. It was funny that you said fanny pack. Uh, I was at church Sunday, and I brought it out and I had it in this case. And somebody was like, "Is that a fanny pack?" I said, "Fanny pack, fanny pack." And I pulled that joint out. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this boy got a whole."
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard, bro. It's
Yeah.
hard.
But look, man, let's get this music started so we can get to it, bro.
Let's do it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. Whenever you click on a notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys is doing a thing. Ace Kennedy. Hey, I meant to ask you, man. Did you by chance catch any of the VMAs?
No, didn't even know that they came on.
Yeah, so that is the very interesting thing though, right? So like I think that one of the things that's always like a thing that's kind of surprising to me is that like I remember when MTV played music videos, right? That was part of the thing. And so it's like then it went for this long period where it was just all reality TV shows. And then
Mhm.
it kind of got away from where you don't see normal advertisements basically for MTV. So I didn't know it came I didn't know it was coming on either. And then I just so happened to turn on the TV. I saw it being advertised on Paramount.
Mhm.
Primarily on Paramount though, man. So I was very surprised. It was hosted another one by LL. I think if I'm not mistaken, LL hosted it maybe like 5 years ago or something like that, or maybe right before or after COVID.
Yeah.
And I didn't see all of it, right? Because like you, because I used to be a big fan of VMAs and watching it though, bro. So but what I did see like Lady Gaga won an award. I think she had like a lifetime achievement. Excuse me. Well, she had a lifetime achievement award. Mariah Carey also had one. And Busta Rhymes also had one. I saw the Mariah. I didn't see all of the Busta, but I do want to go back and watch it because, of course, it was like the Busta Rhymes was a legendary compilation of everything that all the big ones that he'd done. Um, so that yes, it was pretty cool though, man. I was very surprised though, man, because Mariah Carey had just received a BET award, like a kind of a lifetime achievement award for BET.
Mhm.
And so then for her to get one for videos, I thought that was kind of full circle for her though, man. For somebody who don't really pop out as much though, man.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah,
That's true.
you know what was very surprising, and I always tell Nick this when I'm watching the BET Awards, like if somebody just get done performing, or if someone's about to perform and they're nominated for an award, I always assume they're gonna win it. So Mariah Carey won best video over a number of fantastic, like songs that have been great. And if you didn't know better, you would think, well, what song did Mariah Carey come out with
Right.
this year though, right? And it was versus some of these other. I was like, okay, yeah. She was getting nominated for. She was being nominated for that award because she was receiving that Lifetime award. So it made sense to me though, bro. But oh yeah, it was crazy though, man. But yeah, I saw that it came out, and listen, I saw a couple of highlights of it, and it looked like it was pretty cool. It looked like the pageantry behind the VMAs is back though, so it's real dope.
Which is interesting because they like BET's kind of suspended the hip hop awards and
And the
Soul
Soul
Train.
Train,
Yeah,
yeah.
so they know that they got to find a way to get viewership to a certain point. I mean, really, all of these award shows are losing viewership because people just not really caring.
I think that so. This is the thing. All right, I think that they're losing viewerships. BET is because I think that what I appreciate about the BET Awards this time around, right, was that it very was meant to be like a Black Oscars night, right? So it
Mhm.
was the creme de la creme, the best of the best. I think that BET has to continue to push it in that regard. So by that, I'm saying you got to do whatever you need to do to make sure that the Beyoncés of the world are there, the Chris Browns. They're people who I think are who are already touring with great tour sets. I think that you need to figure out a way to have them on there so that somebody isn't necessarily like Lady Gaga, right? She performed at the VMAs, and I couldn't imagine her declining, even if she was on tour. I've seen artists who even been on tour come back specifically for the MTV Awards and the VMAs. So I think for them to really keep the staying power, I think that they really have to emphasize the star power of having the absolute best of the best and the creme de la creme of Black Hollywood and Black excellence there, though, man. So you gotta have the Beyonces there. You gotta have Jay-Z and them there. You gotta almost push Kanye if that's what the case. But if you are somebody, it used to be that you were there at the BET Awards. And I think that the hip hop awards used to be the same way. And I'm gonna keep it a stack with you though, bro.
Mhm.
I think outside of Kendrick performing that, right? There were some years that they really put the emphasis on a lot of these younger artists, though, man. And while I think that these younger artists are really excelling in other aspects of hip hop, I don't think that they put on the best presentation over the years for the hip hop awards, though, bro. And I think that they just frown on them. Now, the catch to that is that the Soul Train Awards is typically an older audience as well. So basically, what they've removed to me is they've removed the old heads and they removed the young heads now. And your BET Awards is like your medium age where it's going to cover the full spread. So I don't know how you get that back on the hip hop side of things because I think that it's just you did that in presentation of a certain audience, right? And if you feel like that audience is no longer worth it, like my thing is that who then fills that void though, right? If artists aren't attending a hip hop award, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a Source Awards no more. You don't have the Billboards Awards aren't necessarily for hip hop. The Grammys aren't necessarily for hip hop. So who is the award show that emphasizes hip
Yep.
hop though, bro?
That's true. But what that's also going to do is force that's going to make the Grammy that much more prestigious because now I'm competing amongst the top artists versus just hip hop artists since there's not an avenue for that.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you this though, man. Speaking of hip hop artists, I just wanted to ask you this. And this made me like low key smile because Megan the Stallion, did you see that she is suing Aiden Ross for defamation of character? Megan the Stallion, the Texas treasure, who should be protected at all time and at all costs, is suing this man.
I did see it. I ran across it. I saw he was talking to academics and kind of explained the situation. But yeah, um, but apparently it's the Rock Nation lawyers that are
Mhm.
behind her in this. And so they finally, I guess he finally reached out to them, so they're gonna communicate and see what they can do about it. But yeah, I saw that she did it. Interesting way. Interesting way that she did it.
I loved it. They sent out a mariachi band to that man's gateway because, of course, for him to be served, they would have to come on out there. And I'm assuming that maybe his lawyers or his security people basically came out there because at some point your neighbors are going to basically say something. You got to go on out there. Now he's been the thing about Aiden Ross. I'm not going to say he's been on the wrong side of this, but he's been more on the Trump side of immigration, basically, right? And migrants. So I thought having a mariachi band to present it was absolutely hilarious, though, bro. And it's weird too, man, because for somebody who seems to like it, I the one thing I think that's interesting is that I don't know a whole lot about Aiden Russell. What I do seem to know is that by the time someone of my age catches wind of something that he's involved with, it's never anything that's like good or great. It's something that's always on the bad end. And maybe for him, any publicity and all publicity is good publicity. But it's like when I heard about him, I saw him well, the first thing was about him of where he stood with immigration. Like there was a lot
Mhm.
of things where as a young person he more closely aligns with Donald Trump. And there's a certain group of people where if you gonna stand on that side of the fence, then you can go way over there because I'm way over here though, man. So you had that. So when this came on up though, bro, I've been seeing though over the past, year that any chance, because I don't know if he and Tory Lanez are boys like he say. Tory Lanez did say one of the doper freestyles on the Aiden Ross show though, right? It's
Mhm.
real cold. But he said, yo, that's his boy, and he'll every chance he got, he would always throw mud on Megan, though, right? And so this is my question for you, because we saw this now with Cardi B,
Mhm.
right? And so now we saw this with Megan. And so my question to you is that in a time where people are doing settlements because it's easier to go ahead and just say, all right, you know what, we just go, not admit to nothing and just go ahead and just write this thing on off, keep a tuck sign NDA, boom. Well, people are saying, nah, I'm not gonna let you keep smutting on my name, right? I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with these formal papers, though, man. So, is this something that you think that celebrities will do, especially for streamers, YouTubers, gossip sites, the shade rooms, the app rooms? Is this something that you see top flight creme de la creme artists doing, just because they're saying, listen, man, you ain't gonna keep talking on my name like that?
Um, I think more people will try because I think Jay-Z is the one that actually started it. Um,
Mm,
when Busby was trying to put his name mixing with Diddy, and he was like, "No, I'm willing to go any lengths to prove that my innocence." The thing is that they have to be careful because these gossip sites and blogs and YouTubers and podcasters, some of them it can fall under the Media Rights Act or something, something in that realm. For instance,
yep.
when Brett Favre tried to sue Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp, it didn't go well for Brett Favre because they was like, no, I didn't. I reported the facts. So the thing is that's what you have to look at. Stepping on somebody's back about something is different from reporting what's in the news as a public
Yep.
figure. So you can report what's in the news about, hey, this person is going through this situation and blah 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 blah. But if you stepping on somebody's back or kicking their back in, that's different because now you are disparaging their name, or what I'm saying, defamation. So it can get real tricky, but it's all what your lawyers can prove. And you can sue anybody for anything. It's just
Yeah,
whatever
and
your
and
lawyers can prove.
I think that the other part about it too is this though. It's one thing for you to basically say, I think that one of the things that she's basically suing him for is that, hey, it's one thing if you are reporting the facts and even giving your opinion about a fact, though,
Mhm.
right? But I think that it's just when you are basically trying to defame that person's name by saying, like, by you basically saying, well, this isn't necessarily a fact. this is your opinion that you're presenting as a fact, though, right? When you present your opinion as a fact, then I think that's when they basically say, all right, no, we good on this one. And the fact that if you got the money and the time, because listen, I mean, I've seen 50 Cent do some of the most pettiest things that I've seen behind somebody owing him a little bit of money. So if you got time and you feel like it's well worth it, though, man, I figured that, at a minimum, you do it to kind of send a message because apparently he was only limited to do his streaming for a couple of hours or not at all. And for somebody whose livelihood is based around him sitting in front of a chat room 24/7, though, man, and streaming 24/7, then I can totally see how for him, then he's like, all right, you hitting my pockets though. And so I think that if the message from them and their team is saying, listen, every single time you get out of pocket on this one, we're gonna have to go ahead and hit you with these papers and then hold up your bread. I can understand why that would make him even more cautious about what he says and how he proceeds about her name, though, bro.
100%. But that's how all them. I mean, that's like whoever that girl was. Like you said, you brought up Cardi B, and I'm trying to think of who it was. Oh, when she was trying to say
Keisha something.
Tasha K.
Tasha K.
Tasha K. Yeah, she had to fall all the way back because she owed some bread, bro.
Oh,
But
some bread, boy.
yeah. But yeah, I don't think that this isn't a new thing. I think people are doing it, and hey, if you got them, a lot of people pay lawyers a whole bunch of money for things like this, preparing for it.
Well, here's the other thing too, though, right? Here's the flip side. We're talking about Cardi. Cardi was also in the news over the past couple of weeks because she had been taking a stand basically against a security officer who basically was suing her for something like $21 million, right? And she had basically had found that she was, innocent of it. I think that was it, though. But here's my thing, though. If you Cardi, though, man, do you basically do some kind of countersuit and say, hey, you need to pay for my lawyer fees? Or how do you watch that? Because now if you're Cardi, you had to go ahead and pay a lawyer. And so from that scenario, if I've been found to be completely innocent of all these charges, I would say, listen, I'm not gonna at a minimum, I'm gonna see about making you go ahead and pay for your lawyer fees or having something pinned back to your lawyers, though, man, to say, hey, we got to figure out something on the handshake agreement on this one, though, man. If I had to come out of my pocket for $50,000, $100,000 for my lawyers to have me show on up here, I got expenses as well, though, man. So
Yeah, not only that,
yeah,
but also me coming into court is keeping me from doing shows and this, that, and the other. Like, yeah,
absolutely.
I wish some of these people would countersue for people wasting their time
I
because
like it. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
It tells me you stand in your conviction about how wrong somebody is about you, and it also tells me that no, that person, you think that, to me, by you suing somebody and it's you doubling down on that person is a liar. And I'm not going to just sit here and let you just say something just out of it being cheaper for me to just be quiet. Nah, I'm with all of that, though, bro.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, though. While it is cool for celebrities to take the time to defend themselves, I still think it was the wrong decision for Shannon Sharp.
Hey, listen, I feel it. Here's the thing about it. I think that I saw something. This is the flip side about that to me. I saw something where Nick Cannon said, "Yeah, Mariah Carey, you don't see her very often because it just costs a lot for her to pop out, right? It
Mhm.
just for her security that she has to pop on out. Not just the fact that she's a mother and just the coordination around her getting out. She's just expensive to get on out there. For that reason, I can see why someone would say it's not even worth my time nor money. But when I see someone jump out there to defend themselves, then to me, that tells me that they're saying, "Oh, I got time today." So in the case with Shannon Sharp, though, right? I I personally would have liked to seen Shannon Sharp go all the way.
But the problem is, though, the problem is Shannon Sharp knew that there were some certain details that were available that could sway public opinion. See the
Sure,
okay,
but
so
hadn't
what?
that already happened though, right? It's gonna.
No, no,
That's
no,
my
no, no, no,
thing.
no, no, no.
It was
That's
gonna happen
it.
one way or the
No,
other.
no, that's not true. We keep having this conversation. That is not true. They went to Shannon first. They went to Shannon first. So it would have been completely hush if he would have just listen to what I'm saying. They came to Shannon. This is Busby's play. Busby does this to a bunch of people. He did the same thing to Jay-Z. He did the exact same. His playbook does not change. You hit up a celebrity. You say, hey, we got this information. We're going to release it unless we can come to an agreement. If the celebrity says, do what you got to do, then they go ahead and do it forth. What I'm saying with Shannon, the difference with this is because there were details that he knew that she had that could make him look bad, regardless if he was completely innocent or not. He missed out on he would have paid a certain amount, but he still would have got the bag, and he's out of that money. So what I'm saying is,
wait a minute. So let me ask you. Let me ask
Mhm.
this. Let me ask you. This is the only way that I think I'm willing to just concede on this one. Is that so? You mean to tell me when they reached out to Shannon that it wasn't public information?
Was
No
not
one
public
said,
yet.
"Hey, Shannon, we gonna reach out to you because we got blah blah." No one knew about this.
No, it was the same way how the other girl who was talking about the girl that went to the Usher concert, right? The girl that went to the Usher concert and she reached out to Shannon and Ocho and said, hey, I need y'all to take this information down. She went to them first before she made it public that she was suing Shannon them. That's what I'm saying. They went to Shannon first with the information that says this girl is going to come out and say X, Y, and Z unless we can come to some agreement. Shannon felt like it was a shakedown, right? He offered a counter. He offered initially to say, okay, let's do this number. They said, no, we want this number. So when they came back with this number, he thought that was way too much money. So he was like, all right, y'all do what y'all gonna do and run it. But I'm saying in the end, he lost because he could have just paid that money and he then would have got the ESPN bag. Now he don't got the ESPN bag. There's sponsors that pulled out of even the shows that he owns, like Nightcap and the other one, I can't think of the Shannon Sharp show. Now, so what I'm saying is you lost all that money for what? Like, because here's the thing. Now that information is out, the public opinion is what it is. So no matter what people are going to think what they want to think, and that's what his name is. It's almost like how we talked about Diddy, right? People think what they want to think about Diddy, regardless of how it would have turned out. And even though those aren't the same cases, the point is still the same, that you allowed this information to come out that you knew that they had. It didn't make you look good. Like you thought it was gonna, like you thought by you putting your own information out, that's why people was like, bro, why are you talking? Like you have not helped your case. You haven't put any proof out to shows that you are in the right. It was a misstep. It was a complete misstep because you're out of the money. At the end of the day, guess what? He's still out of the money.
Yeah, he's still out the money. I would have listened. This is my thing. I think he would have been justified if he would have just said, "This is what's out there that I don't think is that big of a deal." I would have to know what is the information.
But he knew though.
What is that?
This is how you know he knew.
He had them knew.
This is how you knew he knew. Why don't you release the rest of the tape? You knew that they had the tape. He already said, I'd never had a copy of it. But why don't you release the whole thing and not just this snippet? The snippet, just the information alone is what sunk everything. That's when Disney was like, let him go. Because he didn't already had this that came out. He didn't already had this. Let him go. So what I'm saying is you paid the money anyway. So why not just pay the money beforehand? You would have got the ESPN bag. Yeah, it would have been a buildup, but now you out of the monies anyway, and you don't have now you're starting from zero. You wouldn't have been starting from zero.
I feel you. I'm not mad at that whatsoever, but I'm also not mad at a man defending himself though, bro.
I'm not mad at you defending yourself either, but what I'm saying is you got to defend yourself smartly. That's why some celebrities would prefer just to take care of it before it becomes the bigger issue, because again, sometimes you cannot change the public perception. It doesn't matter what happens in the court of law. The court of public opinion is what matters, because if now, like you saw how Scarface, when he was on the interview with Shannon, and he was like, nah, bro, I ain't hanging out with you. Like, I see what you do. Like, that was real. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, your whole thing is messed up. Like, you lost not only sponsorship, you lost. I'm pretty sure there's some interviews that he wasn't even allowed to release because people didn't even want to be associated with him. So you
Mm.
lost more money than what you would have paid to just have it go away. Like you are too famous right now in order to have this. You
I
just slowed your
I'm just
train down.
mad. This is my thing. The only part that I agree, not gonna say the only part, the main thing that I agree with is that you paid anyway. So you might as well, if you were gonna pay anything at all, you would have just went ahead and said, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do whatever the number you're gonna pay up front. You should have did that though, right? If you're gonna ultimately pay the number that they agreed to anyway. Because to me, my thing is this: either you pay up front or you don't pay nothing. Go all the way with it to me if you're
That's what
gonna do
I'm saying. If you're gonna do that, then just because if you saying you got the juice that's gonna prove your innocence, then okay, whatever. But the fact is, you knew what they had though. You knew what they had, and my thing is, he has a team around him that's not as old as him that has kept him from having issues like this. And that's what I'm saying. He had to fall all the way back, and yeah, he's a hard worker. Shannon is a hard worker. He puts in the work. He knows how to work hard. But at the same time, sometimes you do too much when you know what I'm saying. You had the bag lined up. You had the
it.
bag lined up, and you would have just took a minor setback. And hindsight is 2020. I get it. I am not trying to beat Shannon's back, and I think Shannon's one of the hardest working people. I think what he's done with Nightcap and with the Shake Club Shay Shay is super super dope. I'm just disappointed because he was supposed to be the dude on TV. Cam Newton got his spot basically, and I'm not
Mm.
saying it like Cam just came and took the spot, but I'm saying we know that that's where his faces then took that spot. So,
Hey, listen, man.
huh?
Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna say this since you just brought up Cam Newton.
Uh oh.
I'm just gonna say this. I've tried now. I've tried several times, and I can't take Cam Newton serious the way he dressed, bro.
Why?
It doesn't matter what his takes are. I think that his outfits speak so much louder than his volume. I think that his outfits to me are so distracting of his points to where it just makes me not even want to listen to it though, bro. To me, I think that Cam Newton's outfits says listen to this as a podcast and not necessarily watch it. Like, and I know that he got his stuff on and he think ain't nobody wearing this drip. I get that he has his own lane and I respect that completely though, bro. But I just think that, bro, that his outfits are so loud, though, to me that I can't even listen to him, and I
See,
can't even take his point serious because of the outfits.
it's to a point now that it's so this is Cam Newton that it don't even phase me. Like it's one of
Yeah,
those things like that is his personality. He hasn't changed off of it. It wasn't like he started and it was a phase. Like this is him. So because of
it's
that, it's
always been him.
yeah. So what I'm saying is it's just like when Farnsworth Bentley always had an umbrella or he was always in a bow tie or whatever. Like that's him. And so because of that, it don't bother me anymore, man. Like the hat thing,
It
that's him. The braids, that's him. Uh,
it's weird though, man, because it to me, I don't know why. It's just to my eye, it's like it's weird because his my eyes and ears don't match when it comes to him. What he's saying kind of makes sense to me, right? And I can respect his take. I'm always open to someone's if it's someone who has a strong opinion, I'm always down to listen to it,
mhm,
especially when you have information to back it on up, though, right?
right.
It's just hard for me to just sit there and watch it with the out because the outfit is saying, look at me, not my content, not what I'm saying. And that's what I think for me is just like,
Listen,
nah.
as long as he doesn't adopt y'all's skirt thing, then I'm cool.
Hey man, he from Atlanta. So what you talk about?
I'm just saying, as long as he don't adopt that, then
Why you saying
y'all
y'all for
y'all out there
one? Why
wilding.
you no, wait, because I can't let you just skip past that. For starters, how are you saying y'all
Because
when
hey, that's
Cam
what
Newton's
y'all out
from
there doing,
Atlanta?
bro.
Well, Cam
Y'all
Newton's from Atlanta though. And
okay.
listen, so have you seen Cam Newton wearing a skirt?
I have not. Like I said, as
Okay,
long as
how many people? How many people do you actually know who lives in Atlanta who you've seen? Yeah, we killing it out here with these skirts.
Hey, listen, I don't live in Atlanta, so obviously I'm not gonna see
That's
nobody,
that is my whole point. That is my whole listen.
but I know it's happening though.
I've never in my 20 something years of living in Atlanta
Yeah.
have ever walked across just a couple of dudes out here wearing some skirts though, bro.
Listen, and you know how it is. Now that we done spoke it into existence, you about to see it this weekend and gonna text me, and I'm gonna laugh with you.
Listen. I will be the first, but I'm talking about, bro. I have never ever see, and I think I can confidently ask Landon, you
Yeah.
in high school, bro. Y'all out here wearing these tennis skirts looking like the tennis skirt girls. And I'm sure he would say no. And it's just I honestly listen.
Hmm.
This is the thing I think that's crazy to me though, right? Because I think that to me just goes to show how much people can take social media and
Hmm.
run with it. Like, let me
Right.
tell you what's fun. Let me tell you let me tell you what my mama did. What my mama did this weekend, right? So I was talking to my mama, and she was talking about Future and Sierra and Russell Wilson. Now mind you, I'm a big Russell Wilson fan of just the person, what he presents, and everything like that. But my mama seems to believe like what social media says about Future as gospel, that he don't take care of his kids because he got too many kids. How can he take care of them, right? And he ain't taking care of Russell Wilson's kid and Sierra's kid. That's the reason why they say she changing his last name to Wilson instead of Future's last name, and blah, blah, and she is just right. I said, well, how did you get these facts? Well, that's what they say. I said, well, who is they? That's what that's what's in the news about him. I said, so okay, so what you're saying isn't based on facts, it's based off of something that you saw on some, not blog sites, but it would have been on media takeout from back in the early 2000s, something like that. I was like, okay, but it's just that's one of those things. The tennis skirts, it's like nobody has ever seen that with their own eyes. A couple of dudes running around Atlanta with some tennis skirts on with a 50 round clip on it though, bro. It just don't exist though, man. So nah, but that social media will have you believing that that's an everyday life out here in Atlanta. That you got dudes
Right.
walking around, these YNs out here walking around with skirts, bro. It's not
Yeah.
happening.
And speaking of the Sierra thing, anyway, she has full custody of their child,
Yeah,
and she just hyphenated the name. She wanted her son to have the same last name as her. You know what I'm saying? And
I got a problem with that, to be honest with you, though, man.
no, 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 no. I get it. I get it. But
Yeah,
here's the
but
thing:
this is my,
you,
no, go
if
ahead.
you're Future, and I ain't trying to count the man pockets, but why does she have full custody?
And see, I think that it made sense, right? That here's my thing about it. I don't know if Future has full custody of any of his kids, right? But if he just says, "Hey, I'm a touring artist," and for all intents and purposes, from a practical perspective, if you're more of the stay at home, I get that you'd want to go ahead and say, "All right, you got that. We can figure out a joint custody situation or something like that." Because you know where I stand about having a woman telling you when you can see your own kids. That's one thing, right?
Hmm.
But I think that the part that gets me the most though about that, even still, it's like, all right, well, so let's say you want all your kids and you want him to have this hyphenated. Well, what happens in the scenario if this happens? It don't work out with you and Russell. And then you go on and you get remarried. Now all your kids got Russell's last name and you got a whole different dude's name. So are you gonna go ahead and change all of their names as well to Richards or Jackson or whatever? So it's just like, bro, like that to me is something that like I would never even get married if a female says she wants to hyphenate her last name, let
Yeah,
alone
but
you naming
but
my kids a
that is
hyphenated
the
name.
conversation that you have to have, but you can't start there if you don't even have any rights to say anything.
I understand it though, bro, but the
For instance,
level
I
of
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
the level to me the level of disrespect, or okay, now I'm thinking about this. Maybe the level of disrespect, or the flip side of that, the level of reality is this, right? If you if she felt like you ain't that involved that I even got to have this conversation with you, is a reality that she feels like this ain't got nothing to do with you. And not just that it don't have anything to do with you. I'm not going to even talk about the legality of it. I'm just saying that to me, it's a certain level of respect that she obviously got to not have to be like, hey, you know what?
But
Um,
but
I know that Russell is in that dude's life every day and is probably influencing him more. And I would understand if when he got older, right, that he said, "Hey, I want to change my last name to Wilson." I would understand that because then that to me that's a very empowering thing for a young man to do. But for the mama to do it though, bro, I you either gotta feel like you have absolutely no respect and no regards for him because his lack of that. So I'm not saying my mama was wrong about him. I'm just saying that to me, it really is. I feel like I would feel so disrespected by that though, bro, as a man.
but I'm playing devil's advocate. What if Future ain't doing nothing? So
Wait,
why is it then the level of disrespect versus the respect of her husband doing something that this man ain't doing at all? Because
no, I get that. That's a very fair thing to say, right? Especially seeing that Russell has been around this kid since he was what, like 2 years old or something like
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
So he knows Russell. He probably knows Russell more as his dad than Future. And I know that Russell has said all of the right things and has never felt like he was denying Future of trying to be a father. And he said all the right things. But I also know that Russell is probably looking at him like, nah, this boy mine. And don't get me wrong though, bro. I probably would be the Russell in this scenario, right? But I guess my thing is that I want to defend Future's fatherhood though, bro, and
But
his
if he ain't
position
willing to
as a dad.
but if he ain't willing to do it, then
I don't,
what are
but
you
just I don't know.
hold
Yeah,
on, but listen,
I haven't seen him say anything about this though.
you literally just said something that was super telling. Why don't he have custody of any of his kids? Because
I
here's
don't
my thing,
know. He has the money to. If he has the money, he could buy a lawyer
Charles.
to get. He could
Charles,
get a lawyer to get custody of all his
he
kids
has
if he wanted to.
everything else he wants. He has everything else that
Yes.
he wants. What I'm saying is this: if you or I weren't married, do I believe that either one of us wouldn't be fighting for some sort of custody? And we ain't got the money Future got.
If I listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had the money, right, my baby moms would just have to be pissed off at me because I'm getting custody of my kid, bro. I'm
That's
not.
what
I'm
I'm saying.
not.
You already, but that's your mindset from the
Yeah,
get
like
go.
she
That's
she would just be mad at me though, bro, because if we just would, and I would be able to live forever with her being mad. That I'm saying that if you telling me, right, that I'm sitting on 100 M's, and maybe let's just say my baby moms ain't. My baby moms is just a regular old Joanne from Colleen, and I'm sitting here with the whole bag, and I think that I'm just as capable of a parent. I'm at a minimum getting primary custodial rights. Now you might have visitation, and you might want to do whatever, but if it's me, I'm swinging for the fences, and I'm trying to get full custody. And I can negotiate down a
Mhm.
little bit, but that's at least my starting point, though,
Right,
right?
but you ain't got custody of none of your kids though. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, why is it immediately that she's the villain in it?
I'm not saying that she's the villain for whatever she. I just feel some kind of way. I guess maybe I would feel some kind of way. That would be like That would be like if your ex, let's just say your ex, right? Your let's say in this scenario, your ex, right? When it said, "Oh yeah, well you know what, we gonna name I'm getting married, right? So we gonna change the little mama's last name to Kennedy Jones because I'm getting married to Jones and I don't want her, even though all your other kids got she wanted to be Joe. Like, nah, I'm not like you can do whatever you want to do. I don't know. Maybe to me, you know what? I take that back. You know why I feel so strongly about that? I feel so strongly about that because in my own convictions, I know there's not very many men walking around with my last name. Right. So when you try to hyphenate my last name, then that feels like you taking away some of that to it. And I don't know, man. I mean, don't get me. Maybe Russell Wilson has a better legacy that they feel like you can attach this to. I guess I would feel some kind of way about the men or the walk of the last name and my name, basically saying, it don't carry as much weight to me.
Yeah. Now I
Yeah,
understand where you why, but again, that same fire from you, that's what I'm like. I don't see none of that coming from him. And again, he don't really
no,
speak on it. He don't speak on it at all. And so we don't know what's really going on. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, yeah, I know you out here defending his manhood, but I'm also like, I don't see Sierra as being somebody that's just out here trying to just defame him like that.
listen, imagine this though, bro. I'm trying to defend Future, but the more I'm thinking about it, the worse it's getting. Because imagine somebody being because his name isn't his real name isn't Future, right? So that's your go-to name that everybody knows you by. So imagine your kid being named after you and they want to change his name, bro. Like that's crazy. That would be like if you had that. Listen, that would be like if Deuce says, "Yeah, I don't even want to be Deuce Kennedy no more, man. Even if he just said, "Yeah, I want to be Deuce Jones, though, bro. I want to be not even. I don't even want to be called Ahmad Kennedy. I want to be called Daryl Kennedy, bro. Like you know how crazy, you know how
No,
pissed
no,
off
no, no.
I would be.
Listen, I know somebody. I know somebody personally that is legitimately trying to change their last name to their middle name because they don't want to have their dad's last name. I know somebody like personally.
You got to be a whole sucker as a dad that your kid wants to change his last name. Like he don't want anything that he achieves in life to be associated with and identified with you as a dad. So that's what I wanted to defend Future, but the more I'm thinking about that from a practical perspective, it's like, bro, if I know what she's saying. She's basically saying Russell is this man's daddy. Russell is influencing this man. This young man is becoming who he is because of Russell. So I understand why she might want to for Russell. I'm just saying that if I was Future and he moved like how I move, I would be pissed off. But
Yeah.
I think that maybe he hasn't said anything because he likes to try to drop out for some years. He would do these little shots at Russell. And even then, you know what's funny? I always hear, so what's my boy? Channing Fry? Not Fry, but Channing, the one that's on
Um,
Undisputed, that's out there
I,
around club. And he doubled down on where he stood on his position with Future versus Russell Wilson. And my thing is that he thinks Future is like the coolest guy ever and always says Russell is corny. But I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, bro. Like, maybe my definition of corny is just different because you don't think it's corny that somebody thinks so little of him as a person that they're willing to change the man's son's last name, who he's named after, brother. That's insane to me, though, bro. It's like it's almost like you might as well change his name to Future, bro. Like, what if you change his name to Russell, bro? Change the whole name to Russell Wilson Jr. if that's the case, though, bro. God damn, man.
yeah, yeah.
Future pissed me off. I was trying to defend Future. Now I'm pissed off at him, bro. God damn, bro.
Hey, in other entertainment news, bro. So
Damn it.
it's reported that 50 Cent has purchased the rights to Paid in Full, and him and Cameron are gonna executive produce a series based upon that title. So he owns it now.
Yeah. Um, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you though, bro. So I'm not mad. Let's say you remove 50 Cent from this picture, right? I
Mhm.
think that it is something that it's a story paid in full. Is a story that I believe that in hip hop and black culture that people have been enamored with for years, and I think that a lot of it has been based off of the fact that it was loosely based on a very true story, right? And true events, and a lot of real people have died, and there are very few people who are still alive from those times. And so I think that it could be a series that I think that could do well and thrive. I absolutely do, right? The part that I think that's really wild on this is the fact that it's through Cameron, who played a small part in the movie, owning that movie, right? And then now working with 50 on that one, because I think that Cameron and Dame was having their own little beefs about different things and everything. And and listen, I think that the part that I like, I don't know why though, bro. I, I want to see Dame get some W's though, bro. And maybe that's the reason why. Like I've always thought that Damian Dash wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but he was always my cup of tea. I've always liked Dame Dash.
But do you think that Dame is in his own way as to why people don't rock with him like that though?
I think that I do. I do. And you know what it is? I think that this is the thing I think. The reason why I do believe that Dame Dash reminds me of people who I am friends with, right?
Mhm.
And I think the reason why Dame resonates with me is because I am friends with people who is like, you just gotta be they ain't for everybody, but for you, the things that that are their good points, though it meshes well with what you do well in terms of being friends. And so like I've always liked that. For some reason Dame Dash seems like he has a code, right? And I respect someone who has a code, but I also feel like the people who seem to not have an issue with people who have issues with Dame were the people who were always on the opposite side of him. But with that being said, right? I think that one of the things that I think that's wild is that Cameron has been on this little streak of showing his petty. And so I think that to have that instant of maybe Cameron saw it as an opportunity for him. I get it. He's gonna make money off of it though, right? I just thought that for respect of him and Dame's past,
Mhm.
that he would do it, and then in some level say, all right, you know what, Dame, let's put this together with 50, and this will be a way for you to bounce back. But to be able to cop it, remove Dame from it, it makes the most sense money wise. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, I get it all the way around, but if I'm Dame Dash, I would feel some kind of way about it though, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. I am sure
Because
that.
why? Because listen, Cam was at least smart enough to recognize the opportunity, right? That Dame didn't. It's been no secret that Dame's been down and out on money, and I don't think the Dame's broke for from a perspective of everyday people, right? But
Mhm.
I think that it's like, all right, well, you got these things still, and I think that at least Cameron was smart enough and had the vision to see where this could go. And so I respect that part of it though, right? And I respect the hustle. I just thought that I know that him and Dame have had their recent grievances or whatnot. I just didn't think that it was so big that you would do this though, right? To show your level of pettiness to somebody who looked out for you though, bro, at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's. I mean, anytime 50 does something, there's a little bit of petty in it, but at the same time, I also think it is business. Like you said, if it's that prominent of a story, and he's definitely trying to get away from the BMF story, so he needs something else to, whatever ventures he's doing. So I definitely understand the business move of it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it, man. I don't know. It's cool. Listen, I think that it could be one of those series though, bro, that could be right there, right along the lines of I hope, bro. This is what I hope. I hope that it's not a BMF, right? I hope that they develop the series, and it's an adaptation, but an original as well, so that everything doesn't have to be Like I think that one of the things that BMF is that BMF, I think, is very much based off of it's so factual that to me, at some point, I don't think it's as entertaining. And so I think that if they make it an adaptation to where it's like a power, right? I think that that's something that you can do with that story, though. But it is a hip hop story that I think that has been referenced for my entire lifetime, right? Of being a hip hop fan artist, it's always been mentioned though, man. So it's something that people are already familiar with, though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Lastly, before we get out of here, bro, this past Friday night on SmackDown, we had another big WWE return. They kind of in WWE, this was not really a very well kept secret. Like they have definitely been secretly promoting it. But AJ Lee returned.
I so listen, I've been paying attention to WWE from afar for maybe the past couple of months, and I
Mhm.
saw this in a post where she took a picture of her boots and posted on there because I do follow her and I follow a few superstars, so I kind of get the gist of what's going on, though, man. And yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, if she's there and CM Punk's there, it kind of makes sense that they would both be there. And to be honest with you though, bro, it wouldn't surprise me if I saw them come together and build their own faction again, seeing that Seth Rollins and
That's who they're
Finn,
fighting, Seth and
yeah,
Becky. Yeah,
it
it's
makes sense to me that you would build your whole stable as well, though, man.
yeah. They're well. The thing is with the Seth storyline, the stable part isn't a part. This is setting up the mixed gender fight that they're gonna have. So the like Bronson Reed and them haven't even really been in the story much. It's just been Becky and Seth and CM Punk up until Friday when April I was about to call her April. That's her name, obviously. And but when AJ came back. So but no, I'm like I said, the worst kept secret from WWE because they was out here. Them boys was somebody had asked a question like, "Hey, I'm trying to get some merch before I go to the show Friday when AJ shows up," and it's like, "Oh, we gonna get you squared away," and then they deleted the post. Like, bro, y'all is corny for this, bro. Worst kept
Yeah.
secret ever.
I don't know, man. I just for some reason though, bro, I just have not been I haven't been in the space here lately to just really lock in and my girl Naomi was giving up her title. Then see on social media Jimmy Uso is out here with old girl from WWE, man. What's the other black
Rhea
girl?
Ripley.
Who there?
He was out there with Rhea Ripley.
No, 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 no. Maybe I'm getting the wrong Uso mixed up. Okay, so Jay, main event Jay. Hold on, she's having a baby with Jimmy Uso, right?
With Jimmy.
Why did I see a picture and I couldn't figure out if it was what it was one of the other real thick black girls over there. Jada Parker, I think it was. You know what I'm talking about?
You know I know who you talking about. She from
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
NXT.
yeah. Yeah. So I saw a picture that somebody took a picture of them in a video of them in the airport together, though, bro. And I don't know if it was Jimmy Uso
You can
or
tell
if
them
it was
apart now, bro. They
Jay Uso.
no you
But see, I don't know if the rumor was that Jimmy or Jay was together, right?
Nah,
But
nah,
that's
it ain't Jimmy, bro. Like this is the thing. You remember how when the Hardy Boys used to look like the Hardy Boys that we knew from WWE, but then
yeah,
Matt kind of blew up a little bit, and
yeah.
that's so Jay is real skinny, and Jimmy didn't
Jimmy
put
got a
on
little fluff on him
he
still.
got a little fluff on him. Like yeah,
Yeah.
that liquor weight.
And listen, man, I do think that it. So yeah, but I saw that boy. I saw that boy. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah," because somebody said, "Let me find out that's the reason why that boy gave up that belt so he can go ahead and go out here on vacation." Man, I said, "Listen, Jada Parker is thicker than a snicker, though, boy." I said, "Lord Jesus." Somebody need to promote that boy, Shawn Michaels ASAP. He needs to get a bonus for what he's put together on them WWE rosters, though, man. Because listen, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, though, bro. I know that when we were growing up, we thought that certain girls they were positioned to be like sexy, right?
Yeah,
Terry
because they were the
Runnels,
divas.
Michelle McCool, they were the divas. They were
Trish
presented
Stratus.
that way.
You
Trish
ain't gonna
Stratus,
Stacy Keebler.
Stacey
You
Keebler,
ain't
Stacey.
finna not mention my girl Kelly Kelly.
Yeah, but they were positioned as divas. But here's the thing about it. I think that they were positioned to us, and maybe because back then my eyes were still so young that I hadn't seen fine like I have now. So to see these current divas, like, listen, bro,
No,
I think
superstars,
that
because they not divas no more. You ain't
well,
finna
even
disrespect
then,
them
I
like
mean,
that.
okay, well, but my bad. But listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I just think that this run of superstars are finer than the ones from the Attitude Era and fine. I think that like there was like maybe two or three from back then who I thought really were that. But I think that they had a full roster of them that I think couldn't compare to these girls
Well,
out here
I think
today.
the
Not
difference
just
though,
wrestling
bro.
skills, just looks.
Oh, okay. Well, I was about to say that's the difference though, because they weren't set up to be quote unquote wrestlers. They was going out there doing the slap fest and the bra and panties match. Like
And
they now, but now they
that's
are
more
just
the reason
natural.
why.
Right.
Yes, and that's more of the reason why I give these girls credit because it's one thing for you to just be a great wrestler, right? But to be as fine as they are and be a great wrestler, bro, I just don't think that those it wasn't listen, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, remove the wrestling aside because
Mhm.
being a great wrestler wasn't a prerequisite to getting the job before. You just had to be fine. I'm just saying, just on fineness alone, I think that the superstars today are finer than the divas from back in the day, though, bro.
I mean, I will agree to some extent. Like some of them were fine. They just like they were more supermodel than they were athletes to me.
The only ones who I think that I would say long that I think that you could even still put in comparison to the girls today, Stacy Keebler,
Mm-hmm.
Trish Stratus.
Yep. You
Them might be the only ones I can
nah,
think
bro.
of. Them the
Kelly
only
Kelly.
two.
Kelly Kelly dope, bro.
Kelly is, but still, do you think? Listen, though, bro. Do you think Kelly? I don't think.
See,
See,
you
I
gotta
don't think.
listen. You gotta compare Kelly Kelly to the white girls that's on the show now. That's what you gotta compare her to. So you gotta compare her with who's the girl that just fought? You gotta compare her to Charlotte. You gotta compare her to you
I think Kelly does look better than Charlotte to me,
okay.
and
You
it's
gotta
she
compare
killing
her to
Charlotte.
the chick that Charlotte just fought, Tiffany Stratton. You gotta compare her to Tiffany Stratton. You
She
gotta
is. She look. Tiffany Stratton looks real strong in the face.
you gotta compare her to Alexa Bliss. You gotta compare her to
Oh
uh
yeah, she's not better than Alexa Bliss.
no, Alexa Bliss fine. You got to
Yeah,
compare her to like, but that's what I'm saying. You got to compare her to the white
she's
girls on
not
the show
better. Listen,
because you
yeah,
got to
but then that's
compare.
the thing about it.
You
So
got
the
to
black girls can't. I can't
you
compare
got
the
to
black
compare.
girls to the black girls. Then
Yes, you can. You got to compare Jackie. You got to compare Jackie
no
to.
way. That's not fair to Jackie. That's not fair to Jackie, bro. That's not fair to Jack. That listen, it's not fair to Jackie to even be compared to Naomi. It's not fair for her to be compared to Jada
No,
Parker,
listen,
EST.
listen. You
If that's the
just
case,
said,
you got to
hold on.
include China.
You
China
do.
takes down a lot of points for everybody.
She do, but listen, China and Jackie makes your point more valid. So what are you talking
Listen, but
about?
not just that though. Vicky Guerrero counts too, then man. So you
Yeah.
they knocking down your rate. They knocking down your averages
No.
though, bro.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They Vicky
yeah,
Guerrero, China, and Jackie are helping your point. What are you
yeah.
talking
I
about?
feel you. I feel what you're saying. I'm just saying if you were arguing the other way, because Kelly,
No,
listen, Kelly, and
I'm
even
just saying you
Michelle
can't compare
McCool,
them
they were
white girls.
cool.
You can't compare them white girls to them black girls like that. You can't do that.
I can't. But I'm just saying, even outside of them, I'm just talking about the white girls too, though, man. The
Yeah.
white girls, to me, I just think that they like. This is my thing. I think that maybe it's just because, like I said, when we were 16,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's what fine was presented to us. But
Right.
now that we our eyes have advanced and seen a bunch of fine specimens now, that I've seen finer than that though,
Yeah,
man.
but
So
it's
yeah.
also to me though, and again, I know you don't count this, but to me, I think the difference is because they are fine, but they also know how to wrestle. So like before they were eye candy. Now they are actual athletes. And I'm not saying no disrespect to them because they were athletes. Because like Trish Stratus, she still comes back and puts on great matches, and she's like 50, 60 years old, right? And she's still out there putting on dope, phenomenal matches today. So she just didn't get the opportunity to do it like that then, right? We didn't start getting the switch of the real wrestling, so to speak, until the Bellas came. The Bellas still didn't, they still aren't as athletic as the new chicks, but they started it to where they was pushing for
the Bellas. Where does the Bellas fit in? Because I thought that they're somewhere in between the old and the new.
They are the transition.
Yeah.
They right there on the tail end, because like you think Natty, where does Natty still out there?
Natty is from that era though.
She is.
Natty is from Natty is.
But Natty was young. Natty was the baby when Trish Stratus was out there though.
Yeah, that's a good point though, man. We got to go through. But listen, I think that these particular women, for them to be, let's just say, put the wrestling aside, I think just on looks. And I think that it's because it's so much more variety as well. You don't have the typical blondes like you had back then, though, man. And so, man, that is a question in itself for some real wrestling heads, though, bro.
Yeah.
I just think that back then they were presented that way.
Yeah. Who's the top 5 women wrestlers of all time in looks? Or what's your top 10? That would be a good wrestling question. Top 10, the top 10 best looking female wrestlers. That would be a good question.
That is a good one. Yeah, that is a good question.
In a prime.
I'd have to really think about that.
Yeah, in a prime.
Yeah. I'd have to look at that.
Well, cool,
I'd
man.
have to think about that.
Let's get you on out of here. What you got for the week?
Oh man, I'm back at the lab. Listen. I'm glad. The one thing that I can certainly appreciate, bro, is that I've been saying for the longest, I got these 5 kind of songs and I've been looking to do. And I think that the one thing that's cool is I finally knocked out another one of those 5. So I'm down to 4 kinds of songs. And the one that I have is definitely a keeper. I already mastered it. It is packaged up. It's ready to go. I said, I ain't touching it. I'm not doing nothing else but just listen to it. So I'm very excited. And I'm back in the lab this week before I head out on vacation, though, man. It's my anniversary coming on up.
That's what's up. Well, happy early anniversary, and I'm glad about you getting back in the lab. I'm just preparing for that state fair, which is September 20th at 5:30. September 20th at 5:30. Me and Charlie will be taking the stage. So I'm just like trying to figure out what I'm doing. Trying to look over previous shows, but I know I'm bringing new stuff. So it's just getting excited thinking about the show. So yeah, because I mean the state fair starts Thursday, and we perform next Saturday. So
they're gonna be like, hey, they go Charlie and her daddy,
right? Because I mean, go ahead.
I'm trying to go to the fair out here, man. We don't stay that far from the fair, and man, I wouldn't mind actually going ahead and checking it out this year, though, man.
Yeah. Well, cool, bro. Well, we're going to get y'all out of here. We appreciate y'all from ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers. Thank you for joining us every Tuesday at 6 Central Standard Time, and we will see y'all next time.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?